What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys have been enjoying the playoffs so far. Now, here is a clip from last night's Thunder versus Portland Trailblazers game, and I have to say, this moment was definitely one to remember. The NBA has a slogan for obvious reasons, and this moment right here on your screens, in which I am going to play, is the definition of that moment. The NBA, where amazing happens. Watch as Damian Lillard, a man who has been struggling all his career, to make it far in the playoffs. We all know that the Portland Trailblazers team is a very good, solid, defensive kind of organization. They all strive on being tough, defending, but they have a hard time in putting up numbers, specifically strength in numbers, seeing as, the last couple of teams they had, it was mix and match with a few select players, but every once in a while there is this one player that comes along, and they were fortunate enough to land Damian Lillard. Now, as I said, probably the last time they had a good player was when Brandon Roy was around, but due to that injury, that kind of set things back for the Portland Trailblazers. But, in the last couple of years, they had Dame Dollar, that man that everyone knows around the NBA, but with his name being known, that was all he was known for. When it came to his career, yeah, not so much. He's known for scoring in bunches. He's known for having a amazing shot. And this right here in this specific clip just shows you, the process and the progress over the years of failing, just making it there and failing and failing. And now he has a possible chance. He's making it to the second round. This is something big for Damian Dollar. You know what I'm saying? This is something big for the Portland Trailblazers. This is something big for the organization. And this hurts me because I am a OKC fan, and I was fortunate enough to watch this game live and nearly cried at this moment. But it is what it is in the NBA. You win some, you lose some, and some just is going to hurt really bad. So without further ado, here's that clip right here. Now that was the dagger in my heart, ladies and gentlemen. He hit a 3-pointer. No, wait, better yet, it was a step back 3-pointer at least 37 feet away from the, general shooting spot. That's nearly almost half court. Now, it wasn't even a throw up heave. He shot that ball with a step back over Paul George. Now, there is a height advantage, and there is also common sense in this play. Paul George, he's defending him, but at the same time, you don't want to foul Damian Lillard and send him to the line because it's still 3 points. So you don't want to do that and have him, make this free throw, make 2 out of 3 because you're still in trouble and there wasn't that much time left on the clock. So even if you were to foul him and let's say he misses one free throw and he makes the other two, then you have to secure that rebound if you're OKC. and then advance the ball. So as I said, there wasn't that much time. So he sized him up, took a step back so he can get that space because, as I said, there is a height advantage with Paul George. You know what I'm saying? So if he was able to jump at the right moment and get the block, that's a block shot. And, you know, the Portland Trailblazer fans will be highly upset if Paul George was able to get that block. But unfortunately, he was not able to get that block due to Damian Lillard just, you know, taking a step back and shooting a fall away three. So just that right there is definitely where amazing happens. And that is something that I said I will remember this for a long time, because I was able to watch this. We all know that sometimes in the NBA, some of us are fortunate enough to watch some of our favorite players, and such as myself being a 90s kid, I was fortunate enough to watch some of Michael Jordan's games, but not all of them. I was fortunate enough to watch Kobe Bryant growing up. I was fortunate enough to watch Allen Iverson. Fortunate enough to watch LeBron James, Vince Carter. Those are some of the greatest players to play the game. Now, as I said, this moment right here, which is, the dagger in my chest. Because we, as I'm speaking from a OKC fans perspective, we have struggled, this whole entire time we have been on the back of Russell Westbrook, and Paul George has been very solid for our team, but seeing as, we had many changes to the lineup and there isn't just enough there for Russell anymore. And with the whole Melo situation, that possibly could have been, our push if Melo were to play a lot better. If he was to work out more, make some more shots, we could have had a possible chance this time around, because Paul George was playing his best basketball throughout the whole season. Jeremy Grant has stepped up. Not a lot, but he stepped up. Most improved for the team? Yes, because he's knocking down that corner three, something that he wasn't known for doing. Steven Adams is very strong in the middle, but we can't do, you know, we can't throw him the ball every single time. It's called a team for a reason. Everybody else has to contribute. So we have, a couple of other pieces that pretty much don't work. In my opinion, Ferguson, what are we doing with that? Raymond Felton, he's a solid defender, but he has fallen back, within rotation. So it's not like we see him from time to time. You have Dennis Schroeder. He's definitely a hot and cold kind of player. It depends on the night that he has. But other than that, he's another rotation guy. You know, um, Nerlens Noel. I thought he was gonna be a great pickup for us, but honestly, he ain't shit. He ain't do shit for the season. He had a couple of good games, and when I say good games, it's just a good game for him. Not team wise, because I don't even know what the dude's numbers are, and I'm an OKC fan. But as I said, he's had a couple of good games, good shooting games. But we need him to be a solid defender and a double-double machine. I need to at least get 12 and 15 out of him. Not every night, but maybe, consistency. 12 and 15, that's all I ask, because you're a big guy. And play some defense, block some shots. Like, come on. I don't know what else to say. But you can definitely see the difference, with Paul George and, when we had Durant. Now you see Durant is shining, and he's definitely on the road to another ring. And yet we have Russell Westbrook just, back there watching. Now, of course, it's not anybody's fault. In the league, you win and you lose. You see examples like Charles Barkley, one of the great, small forwards in the entire history of the NBA, but was unsuccessful in winning. He worked his ass off. And I just hate to see that happen to some of these players, such as Russell Westbrook. He is a dynamic guard. He has done things that other guards have never really done and never established. He's a walking triple double machine. He is the top leading guard when it comes to rebounding and assisting. And aside from Chris Paul, solid, good guard as well, defensively and distributing the ball. But Russell Westbrook is just, it's just on another level. He's just, as I said, doing things that other guards don't do. He's doing the big man work. He's doing everything on the team, you know? And he probably likes being in this position because this is his team. He gets to control, he gets to do whatever he wants. But yeah, we need that other piece. You know what I'm saying? We need that other piece. I don't know where we're going to get it from. I don't know what we're going to do this coming summer, this upcoming summer. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know any moves. I just know that something has to be done, because this is a legend in the making, Russell Westbrook, as far as point guards go. And he deserves something, man. He deserves something. At least one ring. So, just basketball gods, just give us something. Help us out, you know? But as I said, as far as the Portland Trailblazer organization, they needed this win. And for a second, a very brief second, I was hanging on to that, that lead that we had coming into the fourth. And then things just went, super chippy. There was a lot of whistles being blown. That whole high dribble that Paul George did pretty much led the way with the turnovers, him bouncing the ball, and it, got stuck to his hip. Now, a lot of people may not know this, but typical street ball, when you're playing a high dribble, it's either known as like a double dribble, but in the NBA they call it as like a travel, or you know what we used to call it back in the day was like a diss, um, but it's just a way of dribble. Sometimes when the ball, you bounce it a certain way, yeah, it's gonna come up your body, but it's up to you to to try to play it off. And yeah, he tried to play it off, but the ref actually caught it, and that's what started all the turnovers. Then we had some chippiness with going to the basket. Damian Little was fouled a lot of times. Um, you know, most of the shots he was taking was definitely and one possibilities. I can agree with that because I watched the game, and as I said, there was a lot of chippiness, a lot of fouls going back and forth, a lot of hard fouls too at that. That whole situation with Dennis Schroeder landed down on his side, and you had Mo Harkless land on him. That was pretty crazy, you know. Um, but yeah, it was definitely the best game that I actually watched, throughout this whole playoffs. In spite of what Houston is doing, that series right there, even though it ended 4-1, it felt like 7 games, and that's just what a good playoff basketball, matchup looks like once you're going up against each other. You have two great guards, two solid teams, a lot of defensiveness, a lot of edginess, a lot of tension. That's playoff basketball at its best. I can't lie about it. But as I said, all I can do is just hope for this summer that we get something good, whether it's something in the draft or we pull in some major people from free agency or something, or we trading away some pieces. Something has got to be done to help us out because we just need that extra push. That is something that is a part of our brand. When I'm talking about us, I'm referring to, OKC fans. As I'm going to say once again, I'm an Oklahoma City fan, you know. Um, but as I said, we were always one step away. We always need something. And we need to find that something, because that something is hurting us because it's missing. When we think about it, dating back to all the times we made it to, the playoffs and, to the semis, we always needed one piece. So even before the whole tradings and stuff like that, when we had Serge, when we had Kevin Durant, when we had Cephalosha, we always needed one more piece. And that's just it right there. We need that one piece. I don't know what it is, but we need it. Paul George, I love the way he works out with this team. And he honestly played his best basketball that I've seen him play. Honestly. And even coming into tonight's game, what a great shooting performance, Just knowing that this was possibly, his last game for the playoffs. He went out and gave it his all. Russell Westbrook, in spite of a bad shooting performance, he went out there and still got a triple double, gave it his all. Dennis Schroeder stepped up. He gave it his all. Maybe, I wouldn't say maybe. He probably could have, played a little more um, playing time, basically, and got off, more shots. A couple shots were forced. And a couple times he hesitated on taking a shot. But, that's just point guard nature. You're supposed to facilitate and pass the ball around, especially if you see someone open or if there's a hot hand, you got to feed the hot hand. But collectively, we did good as a team. As I said, Jeremy Grant had, a pretty solid game. Not many shots from him as he normally would take, but he had a pretty strong game. And just as a team, we did good, but we lost. And as I'm going to keep saying, we need that extra piece. We need to figure out what that piece is. And possibly that piece could be a shooter. We need a two guard. We need someone that's going to be consistent and someone that's going to be able to shoot that ball. Honestly, that is my opinion. If you guys feel, some other way, let me know in the comment section. What piece do you think Oklahoma City needs to make it over that hump? Because honestly, as I said, I think we need a two guard. We need somebody that's going to be able to shoot the ball. We need somebody to shoot like Klay Thompson. We need somebody to shoot like JJ Redick. Those kind of shooters. Now, of course, you guys may say, well, there is a guy in, Kyle Korver. Yeah, he's a shooter, but he's not the kind of person that, during the playoffs we can rely on like that, Because during the season, yes, he's going to put up some great numbers, as far as like shooting percentage goes. He'll go like maybe 4 out of 5 from the three. But in the playoffs, nah.
because I even seen it with Cleveland. It wasn't, so much him doing all the shooting and stuff like that. Even when he was in Indiana and stuff like that. It was just, oh man, I'm going into something else entirely, but you guys get it. We need something, and maybe even Devin Booker. Bring him in because Phoenix is just terrible. I would take Devin. He can shoot. He can create his own shot. He's a willing scorer, not a solid defender, but if we need a couple shots up in the game, yeah, you know. Even look at CJ McCollum. You know what I mean? Like he's not super consistent, but he can shoot. He can drop, penetrate the ball and definitely create his own shot off of isolation. So I think that's what we need. Something around those lines of CJ McCollum or Klay Thompson or, you know, just thinking about it just makes me sick. The NBA is so crazy. Just thinking about how there is super teams and then there's teams that are deserving of players but never end up getting these pieces that they need, and then you just got just plain old trash teams. But with that being said, I am going to end this video because it went into entirely something different. I just wanted to basically, brush up on this clip as, it drove a dagger through our hearts. And I just wanted to express, my thoughts on it. It was a very good game. As I said, I'm saddened by the fact that that was our last game of the season, but we will rebuild and we will be back next year. Not guaranteed, but I do have a lot of hope and confidence in our squad and especially behind Russell and Paul George. With that being said, I'm going to end this video, guys. Make sure you leave a like at the end if you like the general topic of basketball. Leave your comments, obviously, in the comment section. Let me know what pieces you think Oklahoma City needs. And let me know if you guys actually watched the game and enjoyed the game in the comment section. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell to turn on your post notifications. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.